Our movie begins in China, where we see a group of young men traveling illegally to South Korea. They're packed into a container to be smuggled across the border. Among them, one man is coughing badly, clearly very sick, but no one pays attention. The container is locked shut. We then move to South Korea, where we meet our hero, Kong, who works in a rescue team. He's heading out to save a girl whose car has fallen into a pit. He finds the car door locked but manages to pry it open with an iron rod. The moment he sees the girl inside, he's captivated by her beauty. She says, "What are you waiting for? Get me out of here." He replies, "Not before we introduce ourselves. My name's Kong, and you are?" She hugs him so he can pull her out. Kong jokes, "A hug already? Shouldn't we get to know each other first?" She gets annoyed and tells him to just pull her up. He does, just in time before the car falls. Later, he radios his team to pull them out. Kim sits in the ambulance while an officer asks about the driver who hit her. She says, "All I remember are his narrow eyes." The officer shrugs. "All Koreans have narrow eyes," and leaves. Kong arrives and says, "Thank God you're safe." "No, thank you for saving your life." She replies, "No, you were just doing your job." The ambulance driver comes over and says, "Come on, get out of here, we need to leave." After that, Kong talks with his close friend Chow and tells him what happened. He says, "The moment I saved her, she hugged me and told me she liked me. I told her, 'No, sorry, I don't just fall for any girl.'" Chow replied, "Why, you idiot? Who would reject a beautiful girl? Just tell her my friend is handsome and strong, and let her bring her friend so we can all go out together." At that moment, someone calls Kong, saying the girl he rescued wants to see him. He hits Chow and says, "Didn't I tell you she loves me so much?" He changes clothes and goes to meet her, thinking she's going to confess her love. But instead, she says, "Can you get my bag from the car? It has important things for my work." He replies, "No, it's difficult. After all, my job is saving people, like you said, not saving bags." She gets angry, leaves him, and walks away. Meanwhile, the container arrives safely in South Korea, where we see Sung and his brother Q receiving it. They open the door and call out to the people inside, but no one responds. Sung tells his brother, "Turn on the flashlight so we can see where they all went." The moment they shine the light, they're shocked to see that everyone inside is dead. Suddenly, one man grabs Q's leg. He's still alive. I'm shocked. Q drops his phone. The man looks badly injured and very sick, and instead of leaving him, the brothers foolishly decide to take him with them in the car. Q picks up his phone from on top of the corpses and likely gets infected with the virus as well. They drive with the sick man, but on the way, he slips out and escapes. Q tells his brother, "I'll go to the pharmacy because I'm not feeling well. You go after that guy." So Sung goes after him, while Q enters the pharmacy. He already looks very sick. The doctor says, "We'll give you an injection." Q replies, "No, doctor, I don't like people seeing my butt. I'll just leave and rest a little." He keeps coughing heavily inside the pharmacy, and the droplets from his mouth spread to everyone around him, even infecting the doctor, a woman, and her child. Meanwhile, Kong goes to get Kim's bag and find her ID card inside, realizing she is actually a doctor. Suddenly, the doctor's phone rings. It's her daughter calling. Kong answers and finds out where she is so he can meet her and return the bag. He finally meets her daughter, Sue, a clever, sassy girl who keeps asking him lots of questions. She asks, "What do you do for work?" He replies, "I work with a rescue team. Come with me, I'll take you home." But she says, "No, Mom told me never to ride with strangers." She takes the bag from him and says, "Give me your number in case something is missing from the bag so Mom can call you." Then she leaves. We cut to a public bus where a man is coughing violently, clearly infected with the virus. Even the child from the pharmacy has been infected and passes the virus to all the other kids at his daycare. Meanwhile, Sung is still searching for the sick man who escaped but can't find him. He returns to the car where his brother Q is, only to find him sick and bleeding from his face. He asks, "Hey, what happened? Who did you fight with? I told you before, never let go of your knife." Meanwhile, Dr. Kim arrives home, where Sue gives her the bag. She's so happy and hugs her, saying, "Thank you, my love." Sue replies, "Thank you. Don't try to fool me with that. I want you to bring me a cat." Kim says, "No, we agreed cats are not allowed in the house." While she's making dinner, a call comes from the hospital informing her there's a serious case and she has to return immediately. She tells her daughter, "Stay home, my dear. I'll go to the hospital because they need me." When she arrives, she finds Q in very bad condition, and they have video of the people who were in the container. They suspect it's a dangerous virus. She tells Sung his brother is infected with a dangerous virus, and they need to get to the container to be sure. He's afraid the police will find out they were smuggling people, so Sung says, "A container? Doc, I don't even know what a container is." She replies, "This is no time for arguing. Your brother has only minutes left to live." He gets angry, pushes them, and says, "Die? No, Q. Give me the money you owe before you die." He tries to reach his brother any way he can, but they keep stopping him. Meanwhile, Sue takes some food down to feed the cat in the garage because she loves it. While she's looking for the cat, a car almost hits her, but the infected man who was hiding in the garage saves her. After that, he keeps coughing violently. Sue says, "You're sick," and he replies, "Yes, I'm sick, my dear. Stay away from me, so you don't get infected." He walks away, but she follows him, feeling sorry for him, and gives him the food she was going to give the cat. While he eats, she tells him her mother is a doctor and asks him to stay put while she calls for help. She gets home and calls Kong, telling him she needs help. He says, "All right, my dear, I'm on my way." We move to the hospital, where a huge number of patients are arriving, all infected with the spreading virus. Even the public bus driver was infected and very sick, and that was a disaster, because he kept picking up and dropping off passengers along his route. Meanwhile, Kong arrives to meet Sue, and she takes him to where the infected man was, but he's already gone. Kong tells her, "I humored you and came along, now go home so no bad person kidnaps you." But she doesn't listen and convinces him with her innocence to keep searching for the infected man together. At the container site, the government opens the doors and finds all the people dead, with rats gnawing at their flesh. Most likely, those rats also carry the virus. To contain the spread, they start burning the bodies. Dr. Kim arrives at the site and notices footprints, realizing someone escaped from the container, likely the one who spread the virus through the city. Meanwhile, Kong takes Sue to eat at a restaurant, trying to get her to give him her mother's number. But she refuses. He asks, "By the way, where's your dad?" She replies, "Dad lives in America and we don't know anything about him." Kong gets happy and says, "Then I'll get you a juice too." He goes to order, but when he returns, he finds her asleep. We move to the mayor's office, where doctors urge him to quarantine the city because the virus is dangerous. But the mayor mocks them, laughs, and insists the virus will disappear on its own. Meanwhile, Kong carries Sue, trying to call her mother since he doesn't know where else to take the girl. Suddenly, he sees a woman coughing until she collapses on the stairs. He puts Sue on a chair and tries to save the woman. Back at City Hall, doctors again try to convince the mayor. Dr. Kim shows him the video from the container and also the face of the escaped man who spread the virus. But the mayor still refuses to act and orders the hospital director to just isolate the sick and cover up the matter. Suddenly, they hear a huge explosion. The infected bus driver caused a terrible accident. At that moment, the mayor finally realizes the scale of the disaster. Meanwhile, Kong returns to where he left Sue, but she's missing. She had woken up and gone searching for him. The mall is crowded, making it difficult to find her. As the outbreak worsens, the mayor arranges for a helicopter to evacuate himself and top officials, caring nothing about the people. Dr. Kim keeps calling her daughter, but Kong is the one who answers. She tells him, "Take Sue and stay away from any crowded place. I'll do everything I can to reach you." Kong then checks the mall's surveillance cameras until he finally spots her. The Prime Minister appears on television, announcing the spread of the virus. He urges everyone to stock up on food and avoid contact with others. Panic erupts in the mall as people rush to grab supplies. Sue stands terrified in the chaos. Dr. Kim arrives at the mall and, by coincidence, meets Kong. He tells her, "I saw on the cameras that she's in this area." They agree to search separately. She also asked him to cover his face to avoid infection. Meanwhile, Sue sees a man coughing blood near her. With her weak immunity, she would not survive infection. Kong arrives just in time, pulling her away and returning her to her mother. He puts a mask on her to protect her, but the chaos in the mall only grows worse. The government decides to put an end to the looting. Security forces storm in with batons, beating people and sealing the mall with everyone inside. Kong says, "Let's get out quickly," but only one exit remains. He and Sue slip under the door, and Dr. Kim passes through just before it shuts. A woman grabs Dr. Kim's legs, nearly crushing her under the door, but Kong jams a cart under it and saves her. The desperate woman pleads with him, "My son is looking for me outside. If he learns something happened to me, he'll suffer. Please, my son, help me." At that moment, Dr. Kim receives a call. The last transport to the quarantine zone is about to leave, and she must come. She tells Kong, "There's no time. Let's go to the quarantine zone." Kong replies, "I feel sorry for this woman. I have to get her out. Take your daughter and go. If I survive, I'll catch up." He tries to break open the door with a fire extinguisher until his hands are injured. Suddenly, his friend Chow arrives with a chainsaw. "So, did you convince her to go out with you yet?" Kong replies, "This is not the time for that." Chow cuts through the metal, freeing the woman. Meanwhile, Kim and Sue reach the plane for the quarantine zone. But Sue coughs, and doctors prevent her from boarding. Kim pleads, "I'm a doctor. I know the symptoms. My daughter is not infected." But they insist on testing her first and send them to the screening area. Kim calls her superior and says, "If the man from the container is still alive, we can extract antibodies from him and create a serum." He tells her the police are searching for him before he dies. At the screening area, Kim undresses her daughter and realizes she is indeed infected. Sung also arrives, still searching for the man, furious because his brother Q has died. He clashes with the doctors, causing chaos. Amid the confusion, Kim sneaks Sue into the group of uninfected people unnoticed. Kong also reaches the quarantine zone and sees everything but stays silent. Each person is given a number for processing. Later, Kong passes the screening successfully. Sue wants to greet him, but Kim stops her. She tells Kong coldly, "Go your way. We have nothing to do with you." She says it to protect him from infection. He asks, "Why are you talking like that? Did I do something wrong?" But she leaves with her daughter. Later, inside the quarantine camp, someone complains about the bad tents and broken toilets. A soldier threatens him with a gun, saying, "If you don't like it, leave." Another person defends him, but soldiers beat him. Kong steps in to defend the man, but the soldier threatens to kill him. "If I kill you now, no one will miss you." An officer named John arrives and stops the fight, defending Kong. The next day, the test results came out. Those with negative results and uninfected were moved to the quarantine area. Chow's result came back, and he was clear. But Kang's result never arrived because Officer John ordered the soldier not to give it to him so he would stay locked up. Chow came in and said, "What do you mean your result hasn't arrived? I heard the government is going to kill all the infected." Meanwhile, we see the infected man who spread the virus to the city walking among the other infected who were about to be eliminated. After some tests, the doctors noticed his temperature wasn't as high as the others. They removed the mask from his face and realized he was the one who came out of the container. So they took him away. Dr. Kim received news that they had found him. She took her daughter and handed her over to Kong, then went to extract a cure from him. Before leaving, she gave them a walkie-talkie so she could check on her daughter from time to time. There, they extracted the antibodies from him. Then a doctor appeared on screen and warned, "Don't use these antibodies until you've tested them first." Kim left them to do the tests at their own pace and went back to her daughter. While they were walking, someone called out her daughter's number and said it was infected and had to be taken. Kong decided to sacrifice himself so Sue could remain in her mother's arms. He told the soldier, "The number you're looking for is mine." The soldier said, "Show me your paper." Kong told Kim, "Give me the paper I left with you earlier." After that, the soldiers took him away to test him again. At the same time, Song was still causing trouble because his brother was locked up. He pushed away all the soldiers to escape, and in his anger, one of the soldiers fell and his mask slipped off. His name was Min-jo. He quickly put the mask back on before anyone noticed. They managed to capture Song, and one soldier asked Min-jo, "Did your mask come off or was I imagining it?" He replied, "No, sir, my mask has been on my face all day." The problem was, once the infected realized they were going to be killed, they fought with the soldiers, causing chaos and riots. The situation spiraled out of control. Officer John decided to take his soldiers and escape, but he began showing symptoms of the virus. Meanwhile, Dr. Kim wanted to treat her daughter. She entered the room where the infected man was and told the doctor there, "Go have your meal, I'll wait here." Then she took her daughter in to see the infected man who had come out of the container, hoping to draw blood from him to inject into her daughter, since his blood contained antibodies. But the boy refused and was afraid of her, while Sue was bleeding and in critical condition. Dr. Kim told her, "Calm down, my love, I'll treat you. Don't be afraid." As soon as the boy realized this was the same Sue who had shown him kindness and given him food, he agreed to let them take his blood. She quickly drew blood and injected it into her daughter. But Officer John saw her and sent soldiers to break down the door. They kept pounding hard while Kim continued transferring the blood. After she finished, the soldiers stormed in and took her daughter away because she was infected and had to be eliminated. Meanwhile, Kong finished his tests, and they were surprised to find he was actually clean. When he got out of quarantine, he was shocked to see Sue's headband on the ground. He realized the soldiers had taken her to dispose of her, since he was standing in the infected zone. He searched everywhere, but it was difficult because bodies were scattered all around. The government had dug a massive pit in a football stadium and gathered all the infected inside it, alive or dead. They covered them up, even if they were still breathing, and prepared to set them on fire. Dr. Kim woke up from anesthesia and threatened that she would destroy the antibodies if they didn't tell her where her daughter was. They told her she had been taken to the infected zone. She immediately left to save her. On the other side, Kong went down into the pit full of corpses, struggling to walk on top of them. He was in danger and could easily catch the infection. Suddenly, he heard her phone ringing. He followed the sound until he found her. Carrying her, he escaped the pit and made it into the street, outside the quarantine zone. He contacted Dr. Kim through the walkie-talkie and said, "I'm standing in front of the quarantine zone. I don't know where to go." Kim asked, "How is my daughter?" He told her, "She's improving. Don't worry, her fever has gone down a bit." She told him to head north of the city so they could meet there and escape. On the way, he ran into Officer John, who demanded the child or else he'd kill him. He attacked, but Kong punched him and escaped. The next day, Kong arrived at the meeting point but found thousands of people also trying to escape the city. Meanwhile, Dr. Kim was on her way with her daughter, but her superior stopped her and said, "Your daughter is infected. You'll harm yourself and all of us." She told him, "I injected my daughter with blood from the only person who has antibodies. Her blood type matches his, so we can create a cure." The army was already on high alert, with thousands gathered, desperate to leave. In the operations room, the U.S. Secretary of Defense asked the South Korean Prime Minister to allow the military to kill everyone, claiming they would spread the virus worldwide. The Prime Minister gave the order to open fire. In the crowd, Officer John spotted Kong and wanted to kill him to take the child and inject himself with her blood. He fired, but Chow saved Kong at the last moment. The bullet hit a soldier instead, and all the soldiers started firing randomly, killing many. Amid the chaos, Kong placed Sue in a quiet spot and told her, "Stay here, don't move. I'll check on Chow and come back." He left her the walkie-talkie so she could reach her mother. She hugged him and said, "Don't be long." The South Korean president then ordered the soldiers to stop shooting and to only kill anyone who crossed the orange line. Meanwhile, Officer John, wounded by a bullet, found Sue sitting alone and took her. Later, Kong returned but only found her broken walkie-talkie. John tried to take her blood to cure himself, but Chow arrived and threatened him with a gun. John mocked him, and a fight broke out. John was stronger and shot Chow in the shoulder. Just then, Kong arrived, pulled Sue out, and fought John fiercely. In the end, Kong pushed him onto an iron rod, killing him. The soldiers reinforced the order, shoot anyone who crossed the orange line. Kong searched desperately for Sue, who was crying in the crowd. Dr. Kim stood among the soldiers, shouting, "Don't cross the line, or you'll be killed." By chance, she saw her daughter. Sue ran toward her mother, not knowing what the line meant. Kong tried to reach her first, but Sue crossed. The commander ordered a soldier to shoot, but he refused. Kim shielded her daughter and took the bullet in her shoulder instead. She grew weak, while Kong reassured her. Sue begged the soldiers not to shoot, and they were moved, lowering their weapons. In the operations room, the Korean president said, "No one fires." But the U.S. Secretary of Defense overruled him and ordered American planes to strike. Kong spotted the surveillance cameras, held Sue in front of him, and declared that she had been cured and her body contained antibodies. The Korean president ordered anti-aircraft missiles prepared and threatened to shoot down any U.S. planes entering Korean airspace. The U.S. Secretary of Defense backed down and recalled the planes. Meanwhile, Kong tied Kim's wound. She looked at him and said, "Thank you." He blushed and replied, "It's my job. I'm a rescuer too." An ambulance arrived to take Sue so they could make antibodies from her blood. The movie ended with that scene. See you in the next film.